Photovoice is a process of using photography to explore a topic of interest, and in this instance, community integration of people with a brain injury or other neurological condition, and reflect for yourself, what is it that I want to document and communicate to others, sharing that in a group, and writing captions to go along with your photos and creating an exhibit.
I think it was very rewarding, actually. And I just enjoyed meeting the other people.
I really thought, okay, I'll go around, I'll take some pictures of, bumpy sidewalks and steps and things that people can't navigate, and that'll be it. And that was the easy part, doing the barriers is the easy part to at least the community integration and the purpose that we used Photovoice for. But conveying things like sense of freedom and the unity of a community, that's a much harder thing to do.
This one, because I'm standing up straight and tall. And I look strong and I'm happy.
Yes.
Two big things in my life.
It's an empowering process to go through. For me, I feel like, hey, I took these pictures and I'm proud that I took them. I think that they, along with the captions, they really do help me get messages across to people that I otherwise might not be able to get across to people.
Why community integration is important to understand as a framework is basically, it goes back to what survivors, brain injury survivors, need. Having meaningful relationships with family, friends, other individuals who are affected by the same issues. Having meaningful things to do, both with work, things that are purposeful, as well as your leisure time, you want to have those things as well. And also having independence, so having that mobility to get around town and do whatever you want to do.
Where we started focused more on the environment and supports and barriers in the environment, and yet through the photos, through the discussion, and over time, it was coming out more and more that it takes two. You need both. You need an environment that's welcoming, that's accessible, that's interested in having participation by all, and you need people to make some effort themselves, who are willing to make an effort and get out there, even though it might be scary, or it might be hard, or there might be barriers. So one of my favorite photos shows a participant writing. That's one of her favorite activities, is to practice her writing. And when we were reviewing the photos and thinking about how they relate to community integration, I was looking at it and thinking, well, what does this really tell us about community integration? What do you want to tell other people about community integration for people with brain injury here in Lexington?
Find something you're good at and excel at it.
What would you say that you're good at?
Writing.
Yes.
Thanks to my older brother.
Yeah.
I'm glad he helped me out because I got to see some lieutenant premiership, and I'm glad I don't write like them people.
Yeah.
When I was in first and second grade, I was only lieutenant person in the classroom. So I asked my older brother, because he's 11 and a half years older than me, if I had a problem with my hand. He started laughing. He said, "No, Lisa, you don't have a problem." He said, "There's just not a lot of lieutenant people in the world." So the next day he brought me home a pad of paper, and he said, "Lisa, every day I want you to practice writing every day for a little bit." He said, "Just practice a little bit. Don't do a whole lot. Just do a little bit every day." And I did. And he checked the case and made sure I was really practicing. And when I got in third grade, there was a boy in my class who was left-handed. The teacher took one of my papers over to him, and that's why his paper don't look like mine. He told her I was right-handed. She started laughing, and she pointed to me and said, "No, she's left-handed." That's what went to my premiership report.
I reflected that that's an example of the personal and the environmental. Her brother was there to encourage her to practice, And at the same time, she was willing to practice and make the effort. And it's something that stuck with her whole life. And applied to community integration, yes, you need both. And that came through clearly in our discussion.
I find myself, I'm not really alone very much, although we'd like to be alone. I'm still thinking about getting more independence.
The Photovoice was more of wasn't a put down of any kind. It was something you thought was a positive use of your time, rather than just being put on a shelf for a while. Using it as a resource rather than as a liability.
We would like to do similar projects in other towns where supportive living has a residential or group home, because it's an opportunity for people living in the supportive living homes to get right out in the community, interact with others, and learn both about themselves but about what other people face and what they think. So in many ways, Photovoice is community integration in action, and hopefully is planting a seed for future integration and acceptance of the contributions of everybody to the community.
It takes everybody. It takes the president of the company to to the people putting widgets together, to the people designing widgets, to the people cleaning up the stuff that goes in the widgets. It takes everybody, and to make a good company work well, and it takes everybody to make a good community work well.
This project was the first time that we did a pre-test and post-test on satisfaction with life. It's a survey that's been used in brain injury research quite a lot around the country and consistently for quite a few years. This pre-test, post-test helps give us an idea about whether Photovoice makes a difference for how people feel about themselves and their lives. So that's one thing I would recommend continuing with the project, because then we're looking at a topic like community integration from these different perspectives, with the photos, with the writing, with the survey data. And I think we can know more with these multiple types of data to understand, to analyze, and to write about.
Everybody that was involved in the project felt like, okay, yeah, I have to do this, but you know what? It's not so bad. And I think that that's one thing that I hope people outside of the project get a sense of, is that, yeah, we may all have our limitations, but we as individuals, I think, feel good about where we are. I mean, we'd like things to be better, we'd like things to be different, but we're all realists, and we've got a lot to give, and it's not as negative as people might think it is. Mm-hmm. Once you take time to adjust to it, and you've adjusted, then you're just a person that has different limits.